Hi everyone, Hannah here. So as promised, I wanted to do a video kind of giving you some ideas of how to come up with some ideas for your junk journal pages. Now, in the February box, as you may have noticed, I made a pocket taking a vintage page. This is a 1975 book, The Girl from the Diadem. And I tore it out, I cut it out with my X-Acto knife. And then I applied some paint, just a little bit of this paint that I had picked up at, I think it was Michael's. It's in light buttermilk, a Deco Art Americana. I love this paint. It's almost empty. I love this color, light buttermilk, just the perfect cream color. And so I just applied it with a brush, just any old regular brush, and just kind of did it over different parts of the words, just to kind of mute out some of the words. And then what I did, I turn it upside down so that when I fold it, it will fold over. And, we're going to make a pocket here. Now, you could just leave your page, just paint it, and then just use it as part of your journal. Some options are you could go ahead and just finish making this as a pocket. You could go ahead and glue the sides down, leave it open. You could go ahead and just fold it on over. Okay, and then see what I did. I just took some glue, just some Aleene's tacky glue, because I use that pretty much all the time. And I just kind of ran some down each of the sides. And then I just pressed it together like this. And then to kind of dress it up a little bit, I did go ahead and I had applied some fabric or some little trim, like little lace trim. Let's see, and actually I'm going to get my mat out so that way I can actually have a good surface to work on. I need to go get another bottle of this because it's getting pretty low. And I just go ahead and put a little bit down each side. You might have some that oozes out. Mine kind of shot out there, but that's okay. And you could always have a wet wipe handy, just to kind of keep that clean as you're working on it. I probably should have brought that, but oh well. Alright, so got that one side glued down. Now we've got our other side. Whoop. Okay. And then I took, you could just leave it plain like that. I had taken some of the pink trim. Let me grab that. This is some old lace trim that my grandma had given to me. She gave me tons of it. I still have some of it left. And so pretty much I feel like I try to hoard it to try to save it, keep as much of it as I can. Okay, so got that pretty much measured. And I usually will let a little bit overlap. I'm not too picky about having it the perfect length. So I'll go ahead and let a little bit of it overlap. To me, that's what I like about junk journals. It doesn't have to be perfect. You know, you can have some overlapping. Mistakes are more than welcome. I think that's what makes each junk journal unique, in the sense that you put your own spin on it, and sometimes with you know, our so-called mistakes that we make, we end up learning something completely new, and it's like, hey, I learned something new to do. So I think that's perfect. All right, so we glued that on, and then I took a stamp, and I thought I had those stamps right here, but let me go grab them. So these are the two stamps I'm using. On some of them, I do have some other stamps as well. You know, so these are just, you know, this is just an idea. My kids are playing in the other room, in case you hear anything. It seems like in the afternoons I have just a little bit of downtime to do a video, but it's not quiet, I can tell you that. It's not quiet. Either my kids are playing with their toys or they're watching a video. Uh-oh. All right, well, let's see here. Get that back on there so it can... Still got some glue to stick to it. Just, I should have done the stamping first is what I should have done. Okay. All right. And then I just take my rose here. I love roses. Roses are my favorite flower. Okay, now let's see here. I might have to maybe put my hand under it. Okay. And I'm okay with it not being, you know, it kind of faded look. I'm okay with that. To me, it kind of adds a vintage flair to it. So that's okay for me. And so when that dries, then your pocket will be complete and you can go ahead and start putting stuff in. And like I said, the scrapbook and junk journal boxes have this pocket that I'm making for each of the boxes. And these are to use with your, you know, with your journal or with your album. Some other ideas that I kind of wanted to go over. I'm not sure if I was able to upload the video showing from the December journal of how I kind of put together some of the pages. So I wanted to kind of go over it where you can actually see it better, because sometimes on my digital camera I don't know, it's kind of fuzzy, and it's when I zoom in it doesn't always pick it up as good as like with the iPhones. So I took a manila folder. It's a little 6x9 manila folder. I took some ribbon and a little lace trim, and I did a zigzag stitch, as you can see on this other side here. Then I did some stamping. These were actually the stamps. Well, this stamp, this is actually the top part of this stamp. I just kind of divided it. I like to do that with my stamping. This stamp and this one was actually from the November box. The Christmas tree was from the December box. And so I just kind of take and just apply random stamps and maybe half of a stamp down here, the other half up here. Just kind of break it up. I like the look that it gives. So those are some ideas that you can do. You know, this makes a great little pocket page. And then on the other side, see, we've got this, and I've got it cut open, and you can tuck some stuff in there. And then I had also done some light stamping here, and I didn't do anything on the back side, but yeah, that gives you some ideas. And then this page, this was just the cardstock page that came in the December box. I took some fabric tape and some washi tape, and then I just sewed it down on there. Of course, they're both adhesive, but I went ahead and just kind of did a little random stitching on there. So that's a way to add some look to your pages. As I had mentioned in yesterday's video, I like to do swatches. That's what I call it. I think it's really just a little tuck spot that you can make with the fabric. And to keep the paper from like tearing up when you're sewing it, I will apply a layer. This is a thicker paper. This is actually cardstock that I tea stained, so it is thicker. But just to be on the safe side, I go ahead and apply either fabric tape or washi tape down it. Then I put my piece of fabric over and do just a little zigzag stitch. And that way it's not tearing on the back side. And then let's see what I did on the other side of that, if I can find it here. Okay, and then on the other side, see, I had it going down this side, so then I thought, well, we'll do something a little different. Have the tuck spot kind of at the bottom here. And so I applied the same concept where I took the fabric tape first, then a piece of my ribbon, and then did a zigzag stitch. Or you can do a straight stitch. You could sew it by hand. Or even just glue it. You don't even have to stitch it. You can just glue it. You know, the main thing is having fun and using what resources you do have. And there are also many tools out that are tools that punch the holes in the paper, and then you just run a thread through it. You know, they make, you know, just kind of handheld tools for you. So that's another option. Let's see, this, I had taken some muslin fabric. Make sure I'm in the camera here. Some muslin fabric. And I sprayed it just to kind of stain it a little bit. And I took, this is actually two different pieces of trim. This is just two different kinds of eyelet trim. This one kind of has like, I guess, a little flower. So I sewed it. Of course, I don't know if this is glued down or not, but I just kind of hand stitched the two pieces together. Took the washi tape just to kind of cover it up and pull some of the green out from this here. And then just sewed it all down. And so I've got me a little fabric pocket. So I think that turns out good. And on your flip side of the paper, you've got the stitching. So that adds a nice look too. Now this page, I don't know what I was doing. I sprayed it, and I don't really like how it discolored like that. But anyway, this page, I took the eyelet trim and some dark green lace. And then just used, I think I just used the red stitching throughout. You know, since it was a December book, I just wanted it real festive. So I just did a zigzag stitch all the way around. And this was one of the cardstock sheets from the book. And then see on your flip side, see you have some of the fabric from the other side. You have the zigzag stitch. So see, that really just adds to the look of your pages. Some of these I just had left plain, and I haven't finished this book by all means. And then I had taken the leftover from this here and just kind of folded it in half and sewed it down. And since I was sewing it on this thicker cardstock paper, I did not put any washi tape or fabric tape behind it. And it did just fine as I sewed it in. And let's see. And then again, I just took a piece and I did a straight stitch down and then kind of a little curvy stitch. Just added a little washi tape and just stitched down. And then also, you can take, this was a cardstock that I tea stained, and then I had applied a stamp. I didn't really like how it turned out. It's like kind of okay. It was when I first opened this one, and sometimes when you first open an ink pad, it's like really inky, I guess. And so that's why I'm starting to put it on the applicator first to just kind of control how much ink is getting on the stamp. But this was a Starbucks bag. We love to go to Starbucks, and of course this was during, you know, the Christmas season, and I cleaned it out. That usually when we go, I get my kids, you know, a cake pop, and so there's like maybe a little crumb from the cake pop. That's it. So I just wiped it out, you know, made sure it was all clean, and then you can just use it as a pocket. And then on the other side, you can, if you wanted to cut the bottom open. Did I? Oh, okay, I guess I did. You know, and just use that as a pocket, see? So those are some different ideas there. You know, those are different things that I like to do. Stamping. I love to stamp. You know, just rip out a piece of paper from a book, fold it into a little pocket like this. You know, manila folders, manila envelopes are great. Sometimes another thing that I also do, I take little pieces of scrap paper. Let me grab some. So these are just some little strips of some, it was either tea stain or coffee stain paper. I'm not sure. The color is more like a coffee stain. And sometimes I just make a little booklet. And so I take this strip, and this is, I think, maybe like, what, 11 inches, is it? Oh, well, no, I guess not. Okay, so let me start at the one. Oh, yeah, okay, it is 11 inches by about 1.5 inches wide. So I take it, I fold it in half, and then I'm going to fold it in half again. And then I fold it in half again, and basically what this is going to do, it's going to make our book. So this is our you know, a crease for our book. And then on these other pages, I'm actually just going to take my scissors, just cut them to where they're all open. And then you could, in the crease of your book, you could sew it or you could staple it. And then, and sometimes I'll just apply a little stamp on the front, just kind of ink it up around the edges, and then I just paper clip it onto a page in my book. So these are some different, ideas of things that you could do. Also, here is a book, and I've been trying to finish this book. This was a Valentine's journal that I started trying to make 2 years ago. And this is, just one. I was just going to do like a one signature book. This is some vellum paper that I had a tea stained. It's kind of hard to tell now, but it was like perfectly white, you know, on this part, but now it's kind of yellowed. And then along the edges of the paper, as you can see, I applied some ink, and literally it's just where I took, you know, I just took this and just kind of did like that along the edges. And almost like you're painting the ink on. And then this was a little heart stamp, so I just dipped it in some, you know, on a red stamp and just stamped it down. I applied, you know, some stamping. This was just a piece of loose leaf paper. I just sprayed it with some Tim Holtz, what do you call it? Tim Holtz alcohol ink, and it was the antique linen. And I just sprayed it just to kind of make it look old. And then this is a piece of cardstock I had bought. It was I guess a copy of an old Farmer's Almanac in 1803, just a little paperback book. And I copied it to where it showed both sides of it, and onto cardstock, so that way whenever I fold it in half, you know, it's got both of the pages. And then there's nothing on this side because at the time I didn't have a double-sided printer, but you could, if you have a double-sided printer, then you could print something on both sides so that it's not blank. Or you could ink up this or do some stamping, you know, or this could just be a big journaling spot just to write down some stuff. What I did want to do, I wanted to maybe just take a random sheet here. And these are some little pieces from the February box. And I just wanted to take and just show you something very easy that you could do with it. Okay, so just on one of these pages here, we could just apply some Mod Podge and just glue it on, and it'll just have something on there. So I'm going to take some of the Mod Podge here. Okay. I guess I'm going to pull my page out first so I don't have. So I'm going to just apply it up underneath. That way I can just stick it on. And then I'm going to go ahead and apply some over. That way make sure it's really adhered on there really well. You know, I don't want it coming up when it dries. So, and it'll give it a neat little effect. If you're working with a high gloss Mod Podge, it'll have a real shiny, you know, clear shiny over it, so that's pretty neat. I prefer the matte Mod Podge, you know, but even with that, I mean, there's maybe just a little bit of shine to it, but you can see, you know, as it starts to dry, you know, it's kind of losing some of the shine, but it's still a neat effect. I thought these would be great for making like, you know, like those faux postage stamps. And so that would be another idea that we could do, and I will see about doing that in another video when I have a little bit more time. But as for right now, this is just something quick and easy. Andrew, can you wait just one sec? I'll be in there in just a second. I'm almost done with this. I know, but I'm in the middle of a video. Let's talk about it in just a few minutes. But just something real quick and easy to do. Just take these little pieces and just Mod Podge it onto a blank piece of paper, and it just adds a little pop of color. And so that's just something quick and easy that you can do in your book. And so as I think of a few more things, I'll just hop on here and do another little video. I was able to figure out how to do yesterday's video on my phone, so hopefully this video will upload just as easily. So, and if it does, then this I think will be the new norm for me, where I can pop on more often, making videos from my phone, so we can just stay connected better. But if you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out to me and let me know whatever you would like to see, questions you have, or various tutorials you would like to see for your junk journal projects. Let me know, and I could, work on that and upload that for you. But thanks for watching, and I hope this kind of helps get some ideas churning in your heads. Have a good evening. Bye.